Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admins received. The translation reads like this: I never thought that I'll end up coming here looking for solutions online. I used to be in this other group. It was a Christian fellowship group. I did put out my story there, and then I ended up seeing that most of the people were not willing to assist me. Funny enough, I then joined another group. Like you see, when you are on Facebook, there are some groups that will just be recommended to you. So there was this other group that was recommended to me. At first, I ignored that group, but it kept on coming back. It was about this other Sangoma. So I then said, let me just follow this woman. So I joined that other group, and then I put out my story in that group. And there were a lot of people that gave me overwhelming support, telling me that it would be far much better if I go ahead with this ritual. Because I was asking if I should just try to do Ukuthwala. Maybe there is a better side, an advantage to doing Ukuthwala. All that I was asking about, if with my situation, if I would be able to do it in a nice way, so that at least I can give my other child a better life. I am a 31-year-old woman living here in Durban, South Africa. I was raised in a devout Christian family, and my faith has always been my guiding light. I grew up attending church every Sunday, participating in youth groups, and praying with my family every evening. I married my husband many years ago, and then we had our kids, one who is our son, and the problem with him is that he is crippled, and now I am finding myself standing at a crossroad. The father is not there. After he had made me to fall pregnant again, that was when he just started ignoring me. I then confronted him, and he told me that he was scared that maybe I was going to give him another disabled child, because our firstborn was disabled. So he was like, maybe it is in your DNA, and I do not want you to give me another child that is a disability. I won't be able to take care of that child. Financially, he said he can be there, but he said that emotionally he cannot guarantee me that he will be there for our son. So I was left alone. I really wanted to remove the pregnancy. I went to different doctors. Then I was told that it was already too late, because if I wanted to remove the pregnancy, I should have came earlier on. But when my boyfriend dumped me, it was when the pregnancy was around 7 months, so it was too risky for me to do it. My son, he was born with a disability, but the other one, he has no disability. When he saw that I had given birth to another one who did not have a disability, he then tried to come back into my life. But the problem was that in Gauteng, he had already made another woman to fall pregnant. So he then preferred to get on and be with that other woman. He told me that he was going to make me to be his second wife. And I said, whatever, you can do whatever that you want. So as for my son, he was born with cerebral palsy. The doctors told us that he can never walk, and he might not even be able to speak. My heart broke that day. I remember my husband getting so angry, even though I tried to tell him that we could get through with this together. But I saw that he was disappointed in me, as if I was the one who had made myself to become pregnant. And at that time, he used to tell me that we were a perfect family and we were going to face the challenges together. But after that, he then chose to abandon me. Even though he had abandoned me, I kept my faith. I prayed every day, asking God to give me strength so that I can raise my kids, even though I was going to raise them alone. At that time, life was very difficult. I would go to my mom My mom is staying there in Umlazi, and my mom is also struggling to make ends meet. And my husband is working in Gauteng, he's a mechanic, and now I'm just working as a cashier. So I am taking care of my son all along. It's like each and every month I have to fight with him so that he can help me. And when I look at my situation, my medical bills that are being caused by my disabled son, they keep on piling up. I have tried to work different jobs, but I feel as if I am trapped, and I know that I am drowning in that and there is no way out. So that was when I met this other woman, even at church. So this woman, she was the one who made me to think about visiting some sangomas, because she was like, even though she's a Christian, she does go and she consults with other traditional healers. At first I said, that is very wrong. You cannot go to a traditional healer, yet you call yourself a Christian, because darkness cannot mix with light. But later on in my life, I then found out that this thing, when you say that darkness does not mix with light, it will be because you will be in a good space. The moment that you start to suffer, you will start to look for solutions even in the dark. So after this woman had introduced me to this, I then started researching, and then on Facebook, that was when I followed this sangoma. So whilst I was in that group, I shared my same story that I am sharing with you, apart from me wanting now to use my son in the ritual. At that time, I was just looking for some ideas on how I can do these Ukuthwala rituals. So after I had posted, I got an overwhelming response, and people, they were supporting me, telling me that I should do it. That was when I contacted the woman, the Sangoma. So now me and her, we have been in communication, but the hardest part, after she told me that we should use my son, he said that I should thank God that my son has a disability, because we can use his disability to make the gods and the ancestors to feel sorry for me, so that they can grant me wealth, and with that wealth I'll be able to take care of my other child. That is the hardest part, thinking about my son. I do love my son, even though he has a disability, with all of my heart, but there are days when I look at him, when I see him struggling, he can't even pronounce the words properly. I see the way that he tries to communicate, the pain that his body and his body does not cooperate when he wants to communicate with us. I look at him and I ask myself so many questions. Will there any woman who will be normal enough to love my son with the way that he is? Even I, his mother, there are times when I feel like giving up. I hate myself for ever thinking this way, on giving up on a child that I gave birth to. But currently I am desperate, and what I have learned in life is that desperation does strange things to a person. There were times when I used to pray for a miracle, but God is always silent. He has never even answered any of my prayers. When I look at my son, I feel as if he is the key to my success. I don't know if Ukuthwala is the only way out of this misery. So I really want to return back to that Sangoma, because even last week I went to her compound and we spoke about this, and she told me that if you want to get rich, let us use your son. Your son's spirit is very strong. Once we use your son and you sacrifice he is going to die, she said. He is going to die a peaceful death. He won't even feel anything, and he will rest in peace, because currently, she said, your son is suffering, and after we would have sacrificed him, the money is going to flow to you like a never ending river. Is that what you want, or you want your son to keep on suffering? Very soon, she says, my son is going to get so worse that I will need to have a help and a home nurse, because of the way that my son will be so sick. So I have not made my final decision yet, but I know that things are really difficult for me, and please, I want your listeners to assist me. This is my own confession, my struggle. I do not know how I am going to live this life without being a ritualist. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister who gave us this translation, hoping that you were able to understand the translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Just imagine wanting to sacrifice your own son.